Assalamualaikum, my dear students of class 7. This is your teacher Miss Yusra Mughal and I welcome you again in our virtual class which is organized by Metropolitan School. So students, let's start our topic, and the topic is conjunctions, right? So what is conjunctions? You already know and you already learned about it, the part of a speech, and it is one of them. What is the definition? It is a single word that join words, phrases, sentences and clauses, right? In other words, in a very simple way, we can say conjunctions are the joining words, which joins the words or the sentences with another words or another sentences. Likewise, we have some examples written over here, that is cat and dog. So the word and is what? And is conjunction, right? Next, listen and learn. So and is conjunction. Down the street and around the corner. So have you seen that this is a phrase, and to join the phrase we are using conjunction and, right? Another thing, he is working hard but he is not very efficient. So this is a complete sentence and this is also a conjunction which is but. So my dear students, today we are going to start our exercise A on page number 169, in which you will have to put the conjunctions, right? So before starting this exercise, you will have to learn, you will have to read three sentences. Those are, he has a pen and some ink. When you have something and another thing, so you can use the conjunction and, right? We looked again but we couldn't find it. Next is, the book is in the cupboard or in the shelf, when you are giving any of the option, right? So we'll have to add and, but, or to these sentences. So all three words are conjunctions and you will have to put in the blank spaces. So number one, we bought some apples and some oranges, right? So we are giving an option. We bought some apples but no oranges. And another sentence is, would you like an apple or would you like an orange? We are giving an option over here, right? So I hope that you people are understanding this exercise in a very good manner. So now let's moving towards another exercise, that is exercise B of the same page number. So yes, my dear students, this is exercise B, in which you will have to join the pair of sentences together using and or but, right? So here is an example. He walked to the front, full stop, he handed in his paper. So how can we add conjunction in it? He walked to the front and handed in his paper. So what is the difference between these two sentences? The difference, the major difference is that the first subject of the sentence is not here, it's replaced by the conjunctions, right? So the subject in the second sentence, the first subject is replaced by the conjunction, that is and. So now let's moving towards another example so you can get the clear idea of it. He went up to the stranger, he asked him what the time was. Right, so the two sentences are written over here, in which the first subject, the subject is he, here and here. So how can we add conjunction in it? We can add conjunction. He went up to the stranger and asked him what the time was. So we are adding and in it, and by replacing the subject of the second sentence, right? Now let's moving towards another exercise, that is exercise C on page number 170, in which you will have to join these pair of sentences together using both and, right? So you will have to add both and. So I already told you that there are two ways or many ways of saying one sentence. So how can you say she was clever, she was hardworking? So these are the two sentences, and by adding conjunction we can make it one sentence, that is she was both clever and hardworking, right? Another sentence, the bicycle was old, it was rusty. So the bicycle was both old and rusty because it tells the both two qualities of the bicycle, right? So this is how this exercise C should be done. Now let's moving towards the exercise D of the same page of exercise C. What you will have to do in this exercise, you will have to join these pair of sentences together using not only but also, right? So how can you change the sentences? How can you add the conjunctions in it? So let's take an example. The dog was brave, full stop, it was intelligent. There are two sentences written over there, and you can write it another way. The dog was not only brave but also intelligent, right? Not only brave but also intelligent. We are telling the two sentences in making it in one sentence by using the conjunction. Now let's take another sentence. The path was winding, full stop, it was very narrow, right? So how can we say that the path was not only winding but also very narrow? This is how this exercise should be done in your grammar copy. Now let's moving towards the another exercise that is on page number 170, the exercise E, and along with this exercise F of the same page number. Now let's moving towards our next exercise, that is exercise E, and what you will have to do in this exercise, you will have to repeat exercise C and D using as well as, right? So you will have to copy down the sentences of exercise C and D, and you will have to replace the conjunction, you will have to use the conjunction that is as well as, right? So how can you do this exercise? She was clever, she was hardworking, right? So these are the two sentences. And what is another way of saying these two sentences into one? That she was clever as well as hardworking, right? Another one is the bicycle was old, it was rusty. So both are the two sentences, right? So how can you change two sentences by using into one by using one conjunction? That is the bicycle was old as well as rusty, right? Now let's moving towards the another exercise, that is exercise F. From your book, rephrase the pairs of sentences in exercises C and D using not only, right? So what you will have to do in this exercise, you will have to use not only and at the start of the sentence, and when you use not only at the start of sentence, so separating the clause we are using semicolon, right? What are we using? We are using semicolon to separate the clause. She was clever, she was hardworking. So not only was she clever, semicolon, she was also hardworking. The bicycle was old, it was rusty. So not only the bicycle was old but also was rusty. So I forgot what? I forgot to put the semicolon, right? So by using the semicolon, we can change the sentences, right? So this is how the exercise E and F should be done in your grammar copy by using the sentences of the exercise C and D, right? Of which exercise sentences you will have to use? You will have to use the sentences of exercise C and D for to solve the exercise E and F. Do not get confused that sentences are not given in your book. They have mentioned in the question that you will have to use the sentences of exercise C and D. Now let's moving towards another exercise, that is exercise G of page number 170. What you will have to do in this exercise, you will have to rephrase each of these sentences twice. How many times? Twice, means two times, using however and nevertheless, right? But however and nevertheless are not the joining words. They are used to start of the sentence, right? These are not the joining words. These are used as the starting words of the sentence. Now let's take another example. He was old but he was very active. So how can you write by using nevertheless? He was old, nevertheless he was very attractive, right? Now you can change it and use however in it as well. He was old, however he was very active. So what you will have to do in this exercise, you will have to make two sentences. How many sentences? Two sentences in which in one sentence you will use nevertheless and in the other one you will use however, right? Now let's take another example. It was winter time but it was not cold. So how can you change the sentence? It was winter time, nevertheless it was not cold, right? So take another example. It was winter time and what we are gonna use? We are gonna use however it was not cold. So I hope students that you people can get all these exercises of conjunctions and you found it very easy to solve. The other sentences, the solved sentences should be given you in the PDF format, right? So now let's moving towards another exercise, that is of exercise of useful words and phrases, right? So which is on page number 171. So now let's moving towards another exercise, that is on page number 171, the exercise useful words and phrases. Under the heading of this there is an exercise. Before doing this exercise we have some examples. You will have to write those examples and after that we are going to solve the exercise. So change these sentences as in the examples. So he has not much money, right? So this is a negative sentence basically, and what you will have to do, you will have to make it affirmative. So what you will have to do, you will have to write it as he has a lot of money. Look my dear students, there is a confusion which we are mostly gonna do. What we do that we write a lot like this. This is the wrong way of writing a lot, right? A lot are two different words. You will have to write it down with the gap. Now let's moving towards another example. She does not read many books, right? So she read a lot of books. Now what you will have to do in your exercise, there is a sentence giving he has not given us much information, and while using a lot, how can you change the sentence? You can change the sentence like he has give a lot of information, right? The second sentence is I do not know many people in this town. So I know a lot of people in this town, right? I hope that you people are understand this exercise carefully, right? Now let's moving towards another thing, that is the composition, and the composition is on the same page of the exercise. What you will have to do in this, you will have to write a short story about an animal. It may be a story you have read in a book, you have read in a book or a newspaper, something that happened to you or someone you know, or you make up a story. You will have to write a story about any of the animal. It should be your past experience or it should be your previous story. It should be the story that you have read before, and it should be anything that something happened to your any of the familiar person, right? So you will have to write it down by your own, and I think this is a very interesting one. You will have to write down the you will have to share the interesting stories with us. For now, that's enough for today. I hope that you people have enjoyed and understand the lesson. See you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.